In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Yes, viewers, you're welcome again. It's yet another program on our SSM 101, face-to-face conversation with leaders of our community, special stakeholders in the Nigerian country. And I'm here as usual with my coordinators from different parts of the world. Joining me on today's one-on-one face-to-face conversation is Fiona Kanu from London, UK. Fiona, how are you again?
Hi, Massive Mac. It's a pleasure to be here.
Nice.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I know the network has held you on today. It's what we do for our country, what we do as patriotic citizen that wants good life, good.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
it's important. It's important, especially from the diaspora angle. It's really important to hear from, the stakeholders in Nigeria, the state of the nation. It's important for us to hear all these things.
Nice.
Live and direct updates. So yeah.
Yes, live and direct updates. Nice. So today, this evening, we'll be chatting up with another one of such personality. He's Jonathan Lokpobiri. I hope I pronounced that well. We're waiting for him to join. And he's the 9th president of the Ijaw Youth Council worldwide, IYC. Jonathan sits on a very, very prominent office. The Ijaw community, as you know, Fiona, is that community where, these resources, this crude oil we talk about every time, that's where some point of it comes from.
It's concentrated in some of that. Yeah.
Yes, the Ijaw community. So the youths need to be harnessed, the youth need to be controlled, the youth need all those leadership things to keep them together, because a lot of things can happen if they are not together. They could become, they could become also miscreants. They could be creating havoc for the federal government,
Of course. I think, as you know, I've been a leader in my own community as well, and so this for me is going to be a very interesting conversation, because I'm quite interested to find out the part that's played by the government within his own, portfolio, as it were. So I'm quite interested, and also to think about what the plans are for harnessing the youth's abilities. And just to talk about all the things that affect Ijaw land and all the different different states that the Ijaw land is kind of pocketed within. So it'd be an interesting conversation.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. You said that so well. The Ijaw land, like we said earlier. Okay, let's not talk much. We might do some more discussion back on the other side. Let's bring in viewers. You're tuned into SSM 101. With us this evening is Jonathan Lokpobiri Snr. I hope I'm not killing that name. He's the 9th Ijaw Youth Council president, and Jonathan is here with us. Jonathan, can you hear us? Can you see us? Are you there? Jonathan, we can see you. Can you see us too?
I don't think, maybe he can't hear us.
Jonathan, can you hear us?
No.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Oh.
You can. It's gone up. He merely said that he went out.
Dear. Well,
okay.
It's to be a fascinating conversation. I think. I think sometimes when the world needs to hear something, sometimes the alternative powers start trying to push against it. So
that's it. That's what happens.
We'll see how the network will allow us to.
Okay. One thing that should be noted is Jonathan is the brother to the Minister of Petroleum.
Oh, they're brothers. Oh, I saw there was the same surname, but I didn't realize they were brothers. Okay.
I think that's Henneken. Henneken, what's that his name? Henneken Lokpobiri. That's the senior brother.
I see.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Henneken Lokpobiri. So they're related. So now with that, they should really fight towards having a good land in the Ijaw community. Good yes, because really, Fiona, the oil has done more damages to them than good.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're aware of that, especially when we start thinking about Ogoni land and what has happened there. Absolutely. Then we start thinking about what part militancy has played in this space as well, because obviously the knock-on effect of that has been, people that are trying to get money in any kind of way. So I think that it's a huge, I think we were talking earlier about resource allocation and resources, and so the importance of the Ijaw land is not something that can be underestimated at any time. So anybody who is in charge or in a leadership position there is somebody that Lokpobiri.
Okay. Yes. So, let's have them come in. Yes. I think we have Jonathan. Can you hear us? Can you see us? We see you clear.
Yes.
Good.
I can hear you loudly now.
Good evening,
nice.
Sir. You're welcome.
Please don't touch that dial so that nothing moves out. You're connected to SSM, Schengen Story Media. It's a media that also encompasses Nigerians in the diaspora, and it has covers all of the diaspora. So your job people are listening to you now. Those scattered in America, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, so Russia, and the UK. UAE. We have UAE too. So it's important what we're trying to do now, and we are happy to have you. So how has it been for you, my brothers? Let's start with that. How are you? How are you leading the youths of Ijaw? How has it been for you doing that?
Quite tough, but it's also worth it. So we're grateful to God for the opportunity to serve our people.
Okay. God for the opportunity. Okay, with me here is my partner, Fiona Akanu. She's there in London, UK, and we're going to have some small time with you. Let me start with saying, first of all, you lead a very noble organization, so have that at the back of your mind. And
how are you? How are you, Fiona?
Fine, Fiona. Thank you. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for asking. I hope you're well as well.
Good.
You're good. Excellent.
Yes. So I think small lag.
A delay. Yeah, lag. Yeah.
Okay. So let's begin with this. First of all, during the week we also had Asari Dokubo, and he's coming from that same community, and he said something that touched us. He said, the end bad governance protests, they don't want it to come to Ijaw land. They are not doing it in Ijaw. They don't want it to come there. Now, my question to you is, are your people not going through similar economic situations, hunger in the land and all that, that might warrant them to also get involved in the protests?
Well, the straight answer to this question is that, first of all, the government, 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 the government The Ijaw people are Nigerians, and they also survive under the same harsh economic realities of today. The Ijaw people also buy their food from the same market. Everything that affects the rest of Nigeria affects the Ijaw people, perhaps even worse, because our environment is the one that is used to water the rest of our nation. So our experiences are not dissimilar with the rest of Nigeria. Nevertheless, we chose a path, especially as it relates to this ongoing protest. Ask me how and why. Within the last couple of months, the Ijaw people with the rest of Niger Delta people have been leading different agitations and protests. The essence of a national protest, in quote, must have the semblance of brotherhood and concern for one another, regardless of the regions we come from. But in spite of the grave issues we have been raising in this country, nobody has supported us, not even by words of opinion, in terms of the struggles we have been leading from the Niger Delta. For example, the only road that connects the Niger Delta with the rest of the world, Nigeria in particular, had completely become impassable for almost a year now, since after the 2022 flood. This is 2024, almost ending. That road had practically become a gory experience for road users who have been leading peaceful protests and expecting Nigerians to join us in pressing government to attend to these basic needs of our people, and every cry fall on deaf ears across the land. Now, the Niger Delta's environment have continued to bleed. In fact, most of the people around the world only knew about Ogoni, but the rest of Niger Delta is far worse than Ogoni land today. Nobody cares about. Today, strange ailments like cancer of throat, a lot of ailments that were never known to experience have become the order of the day, killing our people on a daily basis. It is never part of a national concern. One basic reality we have found in Nigeria is that whenever a Southerner is in power, protests always tend to have a national coloration without encapsulating the concerns of the people of the South. When our brother Goodluck was president of this country, they told Nigerians it was not good enough for Nigeria. Let us chase bad government out. And most of our people, especially in the South, were naive and were drafted into that protest against our own brother, and it was chased out of power. You are all Nigerians. Even if you are not Nigerians living in Nigeria, you are Nigerians. So that pain runs all through our veins. Is Nigeria where in fact, Nigerians are now crying to bring back Goodluck's era, assuming we can ever have that. After Goodluck left, one of the most horrible experiences Nigerians had was a Buhari who came in
Fiona, he's saying some very strong things there.
Very.
Yes, but the network is not helping.
It's not good. Network is giving us problems. It's unfortunate. because we spoke a couple of weeks back about this Ogoni land case, and it's really interesting that there's actually more to it.
More to it. Yes, let's hear Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan. It's okay. Let's hear. Yes.
Now, whilst I don't want to attack individuals, because the issues are far beyond the individual players involved. Okay. Niger Deltans, when we tended to negotiate how this so-called protest of hunger, the key word is quite overriding. And because it also addresses the concerns of even the people of Nigeria all over the country, because hunger is everywhere. Bad governance affects everybody, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of religion.
That's true.
Everybody could have participated in this protest. However, we chose this part because the protest never encapsulated any of the basic concerns of the people of the Niger Delta. And if we must protest, we must also have our own interests included in the demand list. Now, if for any reason the government has succumbed to any of this pressure to negotiate, none of our people will be on the table, because the entire struggle was about the people who considers us as only those who fuel the economy of our nation, but are not good enough to lead a negotiation. So if you don't respect me, ab initio, when you are conceiving this idea, when the issues of the Niger Delta must form part of the grade list of demands, why should I join you to empower you to negotiate for yourself and then my people abandon? So carefully, we chose a part that we will lead our own regional struggle. So this is beyond the Ijaw nation. So this was why I started reaching out to the people of the Niger Delta, other youths alike, different ethnic groups, and we all came to the conclusion that they have never respected our opinion that much as a nation. The 13% derivation that we today even enjoy, today some people are even regretting that we're having that little. Meanwhile, a whooping almost 30% of our national revenue is provided under the PIA to fuel the exploration of oil and gas activities in the Lake Chad Basin. Who gets that money? Where will the money come to fund that exploration activities? Nature is not a fool to domicile oil in the Niger Delta. So we carefully chose to stay out of this protest because the idea was to end the government. And under democracy, the only way you can end the government is through elections, not through coup or not through unrest. So whenever a Southerner is in government, the rest of the country is never comfortable to manage them. If we could manage a Buhari.
Okay. Go ahead.
I don't know what's happening.
Yes, I think it is still the network thing.
It's still the network.
Yes.
Went a bit dark.
Yes.
Yeah, I gave it the lights because it went a bit dark.
Yes.
These are some strong and salient points that are being put across by Jonathan Lokpobiri. And I think it's really important that these voices are heard. And you see, I think earlier we were speaking to Chief Bode George, and he talked about the fact that when it comes to Nigeria as a whole, and I think it speaks to also what the both of them are saying the same thing, that protesting and all in terms of having a way of getting a structure changed. It's really about getting an elected president. It's not about a military takeover. It's not about anything. It's about getting somebody elected and imposed. And, while we still have this abject division, while Nigeria is still divided north and south, to actually have proper peace and cohesion and equity is going to be difficult.
Thank you, Fiona. Fiona, he's back. Jonathan, we understand network issues. We understand all those issues that go around technology in Nigeria and the media. So don't worry, you're back. What you're saying is crucial. We need to hear, and your brothers and sisters out here in the diaspora need to hear you. So go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead.
I think it's still frozen. Yeah, I think it's still frozen.
Okay. So yeah, you were saying something.
Yes. So yes, and then he's mentioned something about all these different diseases that are coming up. That one of the things that tends to happen is when people think about the Niger Delta and think about the wanton destruction of the ecosystem, we always talk about Ogoni land. But what he said here is really pertinent, that this thing is not just Ogoni land. That may have been the biggest or the most known, but it's actually happened across the Niger Delta. And I think that's something that we really need to be shouting about. We need to really be talking about that. We can't have a whole group of, I'm a Deltan. We can't have a whole group of people being marginalized in this kind of way, because to me, if our environment and ecosystem is being damaged because of our natural resources, that's a marginalization of a sort, so we need to start shouting about that as well.
We need to start shouting about that as well. Jonathan, can you hear us?
Yes. Let me tell you one worrisome development the people of the Niger Delta
Please tell us.
Please do so.
Yes, tell us.
Today, if there's any reason to provide security, to tackle the wanton insecurity, the wanton destruction of lives and property in this country is more prevalent in the north. But today, half of Nigeria's military is in the Niger Delta. You possibly can't even move the creeks of the Niger Delta without having to pass through so many gruesome experiences in the hand of Nigerian military, all in attempt to safeguard oil infrastructure. Meanwhile, this environment has relative peace. Soldiers everywhere is lobbying to be in the Niger Delta.
Wow.
Yes, it's a big politics in the military. Nobody wants to face the insecurity in the north so that Nigeria can have peace all over. Every military official wants to be in the Niger Delta. Why do they want to all be posted to the Niger Delta? You can use your teeth to count your tongue.
Yeah.
So a country cannot, and meanwhile, most of the military officers who want to be posted to the are those from the north. Meanwhile, they post our brothers in the south to the war front. They will hardly post our people to the prison for them to benefit from the oil and gas benefit therein. Whilst every era may have differences, things may slightly change. Under General Burutai, you can see the different code names: Operation Python Dance, Operation Crocodile Smile, where they just, in an attempt to intimidate and govern the people through fear, they continued to change their names with their code names and eventually continue to suppress the people, so people can't even raise their voices on issues that define them as a people. That's the kind of nation we have. So if, as a Southerner, we could endure a Buhari for 8 years, my opinion to the rest of Nigeria is that this is all part of the consent we must all share during our electoral process. We will all be a Tinubu. We will all be a Tinubu for the 4 years period that he's been elected. I'm not his fan. I'm not his friend. I'm not part of the party politics. I'm not a member of any political party. But as a Nigerian, it is my admonition that all of us will bear him. If the government fails, it's Nigeria that is failing, not anybody alone.
True.
So we will continue to advocate for good governance. That's why I don't condemn those who lead this protest. Because as Nigeria is fast sliding, it is the overall country that is going down. And policies of governments that do not cater for the well-being of its citizens must be reviewed. Totally, I share some of the sentiments of those who feel that they couldn't bear the pangs of hunger and the maladministration our country is going through. But the fact is, attempting to end the government through unrest is a coup. And we won't accept that at all.
Thank you so much, sir. I just want to touch briefly on something that you said there, which was quite interesting for me. You mentioned about the way our officers are sent to the north and the ones from the north are sent to the south, and there's in terms of the way the creeks and everything are being patrolled. And as somebody, I'm a Niger Delta, as I said, and I come home frequently enough to be in the Delta area. And one of if you speak to anybody, anytime I say, when I'm home, I must go home, people say, you're going home? Hey, aren't you scared? There's no security. Militancy, etc., etc. These are every time I say I'm going home, people, they say, are you going to be in Lagos? And I say, well, maybe for 2 days, but I don't really want to be in Lagos. I want to be in the Delta. They freak out. And they talk about it like, how can you do? When I say, I've traveled from Delta to Lagos by road, they freak out. So they have this perception that, it's rampaging militants everywhere. And, that's the impression that people have. But for what you're actually saying now, that actually this security that we're really, are we saying that it's not that bad in the Delta region? Or what are you actually, what you just said now, is that what it means?
Let me tell you for free.
Sure.
By the nature of my job, I'm in the creeks regularly. Mm-hmm. I go around the creeks of the Niger Delta. Sometimes we're in the creeks for 1 or 2 days on assignment before we come out. A lot of these claims are not true. It's not true. This is the only way this is the only way the security budgets can continue to be increased. This is not to completely undermine the fact that there's a need to secure oil infrastructure.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, one of the best ways to secure an environment is inclusiveness of the people of the local community. Now, when you root out the people and force strangers to be the security men in a community they don't belong to, they don't speak the language, they don't interact with the people. How else do you expect that place to be truly secure? The true essence of security is beyond having armed men on ground. That's not security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The true essence of security is a situation where there's the presence of justice and fairness. So the people own the process of securing their own environment through participation. Mm-hmm. Ask me, apart from the security guard job that some of our brothers have in the Niger Delta, what else do they have? What else do they participate in terms of the economic activity in the Niger Delta? Mm-hmm. Zero. I can tell you for free, nothing. GMD of NNPC take decisions in Abuja here, and people who are located these contracts, people who are located these opportunities, many of them have not even been to the creeks. I can tell you this for free. So no nation can prosper under this kind of suppressive method where a group of people from one region, supposedly blessed, are so bitter because they have no access to their own resources in their land that is damaging the environment, but that's where they have to live.
That's where they have to live.
That's the environment they have to survive on.
So,
So they can be. Whilst I don't pray for a restive country, no nation can have true peace under such circumstances.
Sure.
The essence of inclusion and justice is completely absent.
So just to speak to that point quickly then. So this must make your role quite frustrating because you're leading a massive group of very important people and they're being frustrated. So this must make your role quite frustrating as well. So tell us about how that impacts your ability to empower the youth, to do training, to educate them, to set up small business. Tell us how does that impact you at the cold face?
You know what? We value our environment and the lives of our people. Despite these frustrating experiences, we interface with people of goodwill who sometimes comes to our aid and support what we do. But there's been no effort, especially on the side of the IOCs, to encourage leadership development, training, skills acquisition, and other things that will make life a lot more meaningful for our people. So most of the times, it is whatever the strong man does that is justice within the Niger Delta. So many people are drifted towards the arms race so that they can have their own cake through violence. Remember, violence in my description is beyond the physical. The violence is beyond just the physical destruction of properties, an individual. Violence is a violation of people's right, people's self-worth and dignity, with the exercise of either a stronger physical, psychological, economic, or political power without regarding them as human beings. So this is the violence that's going on in the Niger Delta, meted out to our people. But we have also understood that meeting violence with violence have rather left a darker part for all of us.
For everyone.
A lot of people have died. And in our era, we felt that this approach will continue to recycle this darkness in our midst, where sometimes sorrow becomes the reward we get on account of trying to express ourselves through violence. So we do our best to engage in people through meaningful non-violence engagements, except we are forced to the wall where we dramatize sometimes our frustration.
Of course.
So answering your question as to whether it is frustrating to function under such kind of environment, it's quite a difficult one. Nevertheless, it's worth it because we're also making progress.
Okay.
Thank you.
So sorry, Mr. Mike, just one more question. Sorry, I know the Delta is so I'm very interested. So I want to just understand, you said that people who understand the situation, people who are passionate, possibly people from Ijaw land, they become involved in the things that you want to do. So can you just give us some kind of examples? And I'm asking genuinely from a personal interest point of view, because I'm always looking for things to do within my own community. And I'm just interested what sort of things you're talking about, what sort of things are you referring to?
First, understanding the power of collaboration. Part of the ways we tend to go about, or we actually carry on our own duties, is to form alliances with our brothers who are of different ethnic backgrounds within the Delta, because we share a common destiny.
Sure.
And that has also encouraged our capability to negotiate on behalf of our people.
Okay.
Now, most of the engagements we have had, thank God we have a leadership in NDDC that tends to listen a lot more than previous administrations. Maybe because they are within the youth bracket a lot more.
Yes.
But we are able to have better engagement with the NDDC in terms of programs, in terms of youth engagements, in terms of how we can collectively tackle the challenges of our region. So within the last couple of months, as I took over the mantle of leadership, it's been a lot more helpful. Now, this is also how the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, which is called the Local Content Board, should be doing in terms of engagement, in terms of trainings, in terms of skills acquisition programs, and youth engagement. Somehow, politics has crept in where we are not able to get some of those possibilities done yet. The Amnesty Office ordinarily normally works side by side with the IYC office, though the new person on board also just took over office. We are yet to see, yes, we are yet to see any of such engagement. The Amnesty Office actually was a product, was an initiative of the IYC under my leader, Dr. Chris Ijaw, who suggested this idea of amnesty, and eventually the then government of Bielsa under Timothy Silva, and then President Yaradua embraced the idea. And today, it has become enduring for the good of Nigeria in general. But the simple truth is that the same attitude towards the people of the Niger Delta is also meted out to the program. Remember, when this program was conceived, $1 was 120 naira. Today, $1 is 1,620 naira today. And the budget, as it was, is exactly the same budget today. So, statistically, you can almost understand that what that program could achieve could only have the capability of undertaking about 10% of what that budget could undertake then.
Back then.
Now, every effort to increase the budget, they will tell you, is the same number of people we're dealing with. Not relative to the inflation,
the value of the
disparity,
of course,
the loss of value in our currency today. So it's a difficult one, but we have a sworn duty to safeguard our environment from the hitherto violent characterization of our struggle. So, my sister, I can tell you, the Niger Delta is a lot more safer than any other place in this country. You can see, just imagine if the Niger Delta was engulfed in flames as other parts of this country embrace this protest. Tell me where Nigeria would be. Because our struggles usually target the oil infrastructure, because that's the only thing that pains the country when you hit. Yes, when you want to hit Nigeria, hit the oil and gas infrastructure, and then Nigeria comes to its
knees. Yes, sure. Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, it's nice really having him say all what he's saying. Viewers, you're listening to it live. We're here with our brother, friend, a major political figure in the Ijaw ethnic group, and the ninth president of the Ijaw Youth Council. Jonathan, let me put this last question to you. One thing we know is, for example, the natives of America enjoy some free pass. They enjoy some free things somehow, the natives. Now, being that the Ijaw people, a percentage of our crude oil comes from there, we should have more Ijaw sons and daughters in key positions in that oil sector. Yes, we know the Minister of Petroleum is from Ijaw, but sometime last year, I've had Ijaw have been taken over by Ondo Oil. And I also had that some key positions the Ijaw sons and daughters held at that time were taken off from them. Now, is this true, first of all, and how does that affect the people? Because being around a product that comes from them will make some headway for them. So how is true is that? I had Ajib has taken over the Ondo Oil, and I had some sons and daughters of Ijaw were taken off from those key positions they held because of that that exchange. Yes, can you talk to that?
I can answer to your question categorically that the position of the Ijaw people and the rest of Niger Delta has been, how do I describe this? It's been emasculated under under the current structure.
APC, okay.
If the Honorable Minister of Petroleum, if states were not constitutionally empowered to have a minister, probably may not have one person in government. Because I can tell you for free that an ethnic group that has over 40 million people spreading across 9 states, from Akwa Ibom to Ondo State and the Niger Delta, has only one person in the current structure.
Crazy.
One person.
Crazy.
And perhaps it's because he's from Bayelsa. And because every state is entitled to a minister, we also have our own. While some states have 3 ministers. Yes, some states have 3. Some of which are all key grade A ministries. Remember, the Minister of Petroleum is only Minister of Oil. Oil. Remember, the real value in terms of the oil and gas industry is even in gas today. I'm not a politician, so I'm not involved as to whether it's good enough or not. But the simple truth is that, what can a Minister of State do? What can a Minister of State do?
Difficult.
So this is one way I can dismiss the response I could give generally. But in terms of our position in the oil and gas industry, the oil and gas industry under the Petroleum Ministry has over 24 parastatals. 24 agencies. If I give you a list of all of that, the only person that somehow represented the interest of the Ijaw nation was Mr. Dokie, who was the EVP upstream. His tenure was to end next year. Himself was taken out and been replaced. We're happy that it's our own sister from Ishekiri, a Deltan, that took over the office. It could have been given to a Northerner or a Southwesterner, like they normally do. So we are not bitter that our brother Dokie was taken out. But if you must have a sense of fairness and justice, and a Ijaw nation that you said is the 4th largest ethnic group, has not one person in the entire structure of oil and gas activities that's holding any key position to represent the interests of the Ijaw people. Only through series of struggle, one of our own, Dr. Tonya Lagba, is made MD of NEPCO. What is NEPCO? It's a name is a position that he himself doesn't even have the capacity to help himself, not to talk of helping the rest of his brothers. This is where we are. At a time, I almost described the NNPC as Northern Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited.
Yes, we want to speak to that. That actually will be my last question.
It was no longer Nigerian Petroleum Company. It was Northern Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited.
Your take on what's happening with NNPC, Meli Kyari, and all the revelations coming out, even from Dangote, from him, and how do the Ijaw organization, the Ijaw people see all of this? Because they are talking on your own resources, you know? And how do you see this? How do you see both reactions, NNPC, Dangote, and all the crude oil issues going around?
Well, my take on the issues related to, first, let me address my concerns around this Dangote refinery stuff. First, Dangote is a Nigerian businessman. There are two sides to this issue.
Okay.
Dangote means more than just a businessman. Okay. He's a Nigerian. Yeah. He's a Nigerian businessman who is also one of perhaps the positive lights that the world knows Nigeria for, that the wealthiest man in Africa comes from Nigeria. That is one positive decision on the image of Nigeria. And that is a businessman. Fair enough. But the question also is that if Nigeria today, which is in dire need of crude supply, and a Nigerian businessman has been able to build a refinery that could meet at least a larger part of the domestic needs of our country, today it's beyond the profit motive behind that refinery establishment. That sense of patriotism must come in to encourage that project into fruition so that it meets the needs of Nigeria. Today, PMS that we supposedly produce, even during the war, I'm told that Ojukwu was able to refine fuel in Nigeria and had no need for importation of fuel. Over 40 years plus, Nigeria cannot have the competence to refine its own crude produced here. You sell it out cheap and buy expensive byproduct. What a country. What a country. Every year they postpone the goalpost. Every December is the opening of the refineries either in Warri, Kaduna, or Port Harcourt. And the previous administration claimed that they have spent over $2 billion in painting a refinery that has been existing for a long time.
A long time.
The question is, how much does it cost to start a fresh project in building a refinery? Who on earth will sell its natural product only to buy the byproduct, which is only an element under the product you produce, and they determine your price locally? It's sad. So for me, Dangote's refinery, Nigeria must look at it, project the benefit of Nigeria above the profit motive behind the establishment of that. However, I have my reservations.
Okay.
Dangote himself, as a businessman, has enjoyed the free meal of federal government at the detriment of others for too long. Ask me and why. This was the same man who, instead of competing with the rest of people who are in the industry of cement manufacturing, he practically bribed them all out of business. Our own Eagle Cement in Port Harcourt was killed. Ibeto Cement in Port Harcourt was killed. Today, only him survived. So he has the monopoly to determine the price of cement for Nigerians at the detriment of Nigerians without minding the spiral effects that is decision cost on other commodity goods. No businessman can kill his own country of every healthy competitions in order to grow, but simply suppress every other person so himself alone stay afloat in the business. It's unacceptable. For me, they should sell the crude to Dangote just as any other businessman needs to buy. This free meal he has always enjoyed must not be, because the amount of tax that Dangote holds this country is enough to fund a budget he has enjoyed over the years. It shouldn't be so.
Wow, that's heavy.
The essence of someone being in business is to encourage healthy competition so that prices become relative to market forces.
Absolutely. It's a difficult one.
Okay. Yes. Fiona, I know you probably have more things to say, but
any more questions?
Our time.
Yeah, I know
our time is running. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead with your last question. Go ahead.
No. It's fine because I'm aware of the time restrictions.
Yes, it's no, but it's wonderful. I mean, listening to him, Fiona, it gives you a different picture.
Absolutely.
From this is like hearing from the horse's mouth, like they say, and no better person can put it out like this. So, Jonathan, we really do appreciate you coming by to talk to us like this. What we'll do is listen to this, Jonathan. If you want, we could be engaging with you like this. You give your people updates, Nigerians in the diaspora, and this way people understand. Nobody's listening to fake news. Nobody's going with all those sensational stories, We're getting raw, real facts, storyline. So it's up to you. The network is ready to partner with you. Concurrently, we just have that engagement plan, and you come to talk to us like this, open our eyes to things we probably don't know. What about that, Jonathan?
It will always be my pleasure to engage with you guys, because
nice.
It's a learning process for me too.
No, we are learning from you, and viewers are learning from you. You have quite a number of them here too, listening and hearing you. So, but thank you, Jonathan, for coming by. Thank you, viewers. He's been a major political figure, like we said, in the Ijaw ethnic group of Niger Delta region, Nigeria, and we'll be speaking with the Night President of the Ijaw Youth Council worldwide, and that's Jonathan Lokpobiri Snr.
Lokpobiri.
Yes, Lokpobiri Snr. So, Jonathan, you'll come back. We'll have you more on this platform.
Thank you so much.
Please keep doing what you're doing. One more thing, Jonathan. Listen to this. A lot of people are also relying on you to find a way of succor, of a solution out of all of this. No. So yes, now you have the knowledge, you understand what is going on. Now the other thing is, how do we get out of this? How do the job people get a better life? How do we, also sit on the table with these people, with these other people, and negotiate good business for the community?
Yeah.
That's
it's part of our struggle. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. I appreciate it.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
So Fiona, thank you for coming. So it's been, this is it. Ijaw Youth, that's the logo there. Council worldwide. That's a beautiful logo of an eagle, a cheetah, and I think a crocodile around the swampy, rich, swampy region of the Ijaw land. Viewers, tune with us next time. We'll be talking more with Jonathan. So God bless you all till we come again. Bye-bye.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in diaspora and at home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global